permit me to break the news to you, isn't about appearance, prestige, or even charm. It comes down to strategy, and most guys fall short. Because they pursue rather than produce an enticing draw that you may believe she's too good for you, or maybe she's previously said that she's not intrigued. But ladies, here's the reality. Don't always understand their desires until you acknowledge them. Even the one who's disregarding your messages or preventing you from zone may locate herself in the just friend zone, attracted to you, but only if you're able to turn the page and realize that this isn't regarding trickery or manipulation. It's about knowing the true nature of attraction solves the issue that most guys don't. Women behave needy. Don't you grasp that? Put up too much effort or give up completely. Flash, none of it attracts ladies. To men who are aware of their value, not men who plead for attention or make an effort to prove they're adequate. But here is where it gets. The contentious appeal isn't about persuading her that you are the best choice. It's about helping her understand that wishes to avoid losing you during that shift does not occur while you are pursuing her or giving in to her every need that arises. She can't ignore you once you're a guy. Indeed, this is true even when she states what is the reason for her lack of interest. Secret. It begins with turning your mentality must quit considering her emotions for you and begin increasing your worth. Women are both inwardly and outwardly programmed to react to confidence and strength and mystery as soon as you begin performing as if she were the prize you forfeited. Yet, when you live as if you've won something. Modifications to the video. I'll be teaching you know how to draw in any lady, even those who seem disinterested. This isn't about pretending to be or playing games. It's about someone you're not knowing how to put oneself in as the guy she finds herself thinking about constantly. If you're prepared to give up pursuing and begin attracting, let's enter. Give up caring what she thinks. It stops caring about her. Belief that the easiest method to lose when a lady tries too hard, she shows interest. Many guys fall into this in an attempt to get favor. Trap believing they must say the correct thing. Things behave a specific manner or stay away from insulting her in this way yells insecurity. This is the current reality. You get very invested in what she believes you give her complete authority, and when she is completely attracted to power, women are attracted to males by nature. People seem unaffected, and why you can't help but feel confident when you put her viewpoint ahead of your own. Convey the idea that you regard her more than oneself, which isn't appealing. Weak. Instead, you should reverse the script. Of fretting about her perceived attention about living up to your full potential, her perception will amaze you. Changes moment you give up seeking approval. This does not imply being impolite or dismissive. The goal is to detach emotionally from her endorsement of, for instance, if you're out on a date, don't excessively examine each response she makes, whether she laughs a lot. So don't worry if she doesn't. Have enough self-confidence that her reaction, or lack thereof, does not impact your mood. Here's a useful, for instance, let's say you're messaging her and she abruptly stops responding with the typical, the man would inquire, overthink, or double text. If he made a mistake instead of you, continue with your message and send it. She could respond 2 hours later. I apologize. I was preoccupied by your answer. Concerns, I assumed you would return when you... Could you then change the subject or even stop the discussion according to your terms? Here's what occurs. You demonstrate to her that you're not in a frantic attempt to get her attention or time. You're indicating that although you're having fun, you can't rely on her business for your contentment. This little change creates. She questions why you're so calm and confident when you lose interest in. In her view, you develop into a guy who is, Women who are more difficult to impress are attracted to the challenge, rather than stooping backwards to win her acceptance and maintain your grounding. When you give up attempting to impress her, may discover that she begins to put forth more effort to triumph. Pay attention to your own worth. You too concentrate on your own worth, if to attract any lady, even one, is your goal. Who doesn't appear interested? You should move the attention away from her and toward you. Men tend to invest all of their money, their efforts to win the lady over rather of increasing their own worth. The harsh reality is that a woman won't appreciate you if you don't initially. Concentrating on your own worth entails developing into the kind of guy who is. Being naturally handsome does not imply seeming to be confident or attempting to appear ideal. It's about growing as a person, emotionally, physically, and cognitively, to the thing that makes you unique without even making an effort. When you put yourself first, you become the guy who doesn't have to pursue ladies and observe that there are too many males. Focus on her desires rather than inquiring as to what I should bring to the table. Are you making a living or advancing your career? Do you have interests and pastimes? Is your life boring without her? Enhancing your physical fitness? Or do you merely talk about the importance of getting in shape? Man concentrates on developing all facets of his life. When you pique her, curiosity comes easily. Here's a useful. For instance, supposing you're considering a lady who seems aloof, rather than sending her constant texts or attempting to coerce, intends to begin going to the gym after focus on eating healthier and dressing better at work, sharper, and evolving into the greatest iteration of you. Learn a new skill as well, such as taking a language course or a few weeks after taking a photography lesson. She observes your modifications. Could you publish a picture of your development or make reference to your new pastime? And she begins to inquire. You've been busy recently, don't you? She's curious about what's new because you've moved on from waiting for her. You're demonstrating to her how satisfying whether or not she is present. Here's the power of concentrating on your worth. You change the dynamic that she starts to perceive. You are someone she should spend her time with. When you give up pursuing her, she begins pursuing your vitality. A guy who is a guy who works on himself. Women can't resist. Therefore, don't waste time attempting to persuade her to invest in yourself, and the outcomes will be more powerful than avoid chasing after mysteries. 3. Don't pursue construct words. The quickest way to pursue a lady is to be mysterious. Method to push her away. Consider how does it make you feel when someone is always circling you in desperation, for your attention is smothering and overpowering. And even obnoxious ladies have the same sentiments. The more you run while they are chasing you, following her, the more you indicate that you lack alternatives, which is a turn-off. Let's now reverse the script. Rather than with the goal of developing, mysterious ladies are attracted to things they can't quickly determine if you're constantly texting first or always accessible, anxious to get together. There is no obstacle. She is already aware of your position, and the mystery is created as the enthusiasm fades. Does not imply engaging in gaming or becoming dishonest. It's all about keeping back. Enough to keep her interested, but stop oversharing all you think and do. Don't answer if she inquires about your day. A thorough analysis of your keep the timetable straightforward. Yet wow, this day has been fascinating. At some point I'll tell you about it. That's it. She's now thinking and intrigued. About you in a different manner. To evoke mystery is to live a life that isn't centered on spend time with your buddies around her. Engage in your interests and keep yourself occupied. When she notices that you're not constantly accessible, she begins to question what he's doing, with whom, and all of a sudden you're not. She's paying, and it's no longer predictable. Paying more attention to the mystery's attractiveness is that it allows for creativity. When you're not explaining all the time yourself or attempting to win her favor, She begins to fill up the gaps, and often she will think about you in your favor. More due to the feeling of the unknown, guys often overlook that allure is more than simply what has been stated or seen. Additionally, it's about how you feel when you give up pursuing and make yourself mysterious. Evoke feelings in her that she is unable to disregard. She begins to sense the attraction of wishing to recall more about you. Women gravitate toward males who are confident in themselves and are not required to continuously show their value, therefore give off pursuing them. Instead, force her to seize the opportunity to recognize you the way you stand. Learn to be silent. Master the art of sometimes the most powerful thing is silence. Nothing at all is what you can say. Most guys overlook the power of quiet. Regarding attraction, it's not just concerning what you say, but also about when and how you decide to tell it. Here's the issue that most males discuss. Excessively, they attempt to cover every gap in a dialogue in which they describe themselves continuously or send her a barrage of texts. When she is silent, this being too talkative doesn't make you look. You can out as desperate when you exude confidence. When a guy feels uncomfortable, women can tell. With quiet, which conveys a lack of confidence. Conversely, quiet conveys a much. It demonstrates self-control, patience, and poise. Confidence in a guy who can tolerate quiet. A guy does not have to rush to fill it. Whoever exudes confidence is interpreted by women. This as a strength, as it implies. You don't mind letting things happen. Obviously, for instance, if a lady seems aloof or fails to respond to your message, your first inclination may be to ask what's wrong or follow up. Don't allow. When you pause, the stillness works for you. Reacting right away, she begins curious as to what's going through your mind. That attraction might result from curiosity, as she is now considering you. Rather than the opposite, quiet is also very strong during disputes or stressful situations instead of hurrying to clarify or defend oneself. Take a time to consider what she said. In addition to reducing stress, pausing makes her consider what she said. Above all, it demonstrates that you're not. The art of silence was rocked easily, goes beyond just using words. It's also, you don't always have to be present. Keep the energy up or amuse her. Peaceful time spent together where neither of you may feel compelled to talk because that kind of relationship is quite personal, is uncommon and, in the end, unforgettable. The key to controlling quiet is demonstrating that you feel at ease in your own flesh. You're not attempting to win acceptance or fill in the blanks just for fun. This is subtle enough for women to notice, yet strong method of expressing that you're not just in charge of the circumstance but of arouse her interest. You 5 set her off. Most guys make it much too simple to be curious. They lie so that ladies can figure them out. Every card they have on the table within the first discussions about their interests, their motives, and sometimes their whole life narrative, let me be honest, destroys the allure when you disclose. There isn't any space for stuff up front. Mystery, and without it, there would be no curiosity, is where most guys make mistakes. They believe that being transparent makes them, the truth is more likable or relatable, just makes them seem like dull ladies. Inherently attracted to things they are unable to really comprehend, whether you're predictable and too open. Provide her with nothing to ponder. Quits worrying about that spark in you. Men awaken before it even begins to fade. If you're that guy that texts all the time, what are you up to? Or give her an update. In every aspect of your day, you must make room if you're doing it incorrectly. Expect interest to increase, rather than responding immediately to each query or letting others know your intentions while on full leave voids. Allow her imagination to fill up the rest. For instance, if she inquires about your activities this weekend, avoid posting your itinerary. Similar to a tour guide's basic "I have some exciting things planned." Telling you how it goes is sufficient at this point. Keeping her interested and curious about, "Here's the truth about your life." Curiosity is the thing that keeps people thinking about the films or novels that capture your pay attention to the unknowns and twists, and the unexpected elements that keep you interested. Attraction works similarly. If she cannot completely foresee you, she'll want to explore further to comprehend you. But let's be explicit. Arousing interest doesn't imply playing mental tricks or being elusive. It's about keeping a sense of ambiguity while maintaining authenticity. You don't need to pretend to be anything. Give up attempting to impress others and revealing too much, giving her information that she hadn't even requested. When you pique her interest, you change the emphasis rather than you all the time. She begins to think about her, about you, and that's the crucial element. Therefore, "Stop giving everything out for nothing" is a little enigmatic, forces her to discover you. That's how you maintain her, eager to return for increase the level of emotional stress. 6 more to develop emotional. The appeal of tension isn't limited to, it's about emotional chemistry, not physical. This is the invisible thread of tension. It keeps a lady considering you even when you're not in the vicinity of the issue. Most males are unable to generate this tension because they're not sure how to interact with a lady. They can trust emotionally superficial discussions and consistent behavior that might be secure, however, let me tell you, is also forgettable. Anything that keeps women from falling for males who, "Be cautious in all of your encounters," are just kind or too courteous. Emotionally, you're missing the purpose. Creating a dynamic creates tension. It maintains her interest, and occasionally unbalanced, but in a positive manner. It's not about being impolite or manipulative. It involves violating the routine and evoking a reaction in her. There are too many men to overlook her. Dangers in discussions or encounters because they're afraid of being rejected or discomfort. But this is the reality. If she won't feel anything while she's with you. Let go of the emotional stress. Straining limits just enough to ignite a response. Maybe mocking her about something little or boldly not sharing her viewpoint. It's those brief instances of conflict combined with playfulness that maintains interest. Another crucial element in creating tension is pace. Take your time to finish everything tense or silent. Time in the "let the discussion linger for a moment." Short delay may have significant impact since it makes her think about what transpired. She wonders what you're thinking, or your next course of action, and in that regard, attraction increases here, where the majority of guys fall short of what they believe women want solely, to experience joy or amusement, but in actuality, attraction is about feeling the whole spectrum of emotions by surprising her, confronting her, or even making her a bit uneasy in a light-hearted how you give her dimension. She'll remember how you made her laugh. Recall how you gave her a building feeling. Emotional strain undermines self-assurance, and it's good to practice when a lady feels attracted to you emotionally, but she won't be capable of disregarding you. So quit being, be dependable, brave, interesting, and most importantly, most essential, have the ability to ignite genuine emotions, which is how you stand. Establish and maintain limits. Out 7 limits and adhere to them. They are among the most significant errors males make. Fail to establish limits, they go above and above to win a lady over, even if it means sacrificing their own comfort. Guess what? Time or ideals don't enhance your beauty and make you a pushy. Women have little regard for guys who are unable to defend themselves, and there is no attractiveness if there is no respect. Establishing limits requires understanding your value, and not letting it be compromised implies being aware of what you will and won't put up with, not just in partnerships. However, if you let a woman stroll throughout life, all over you, she'll get disinterested more quickly. Then you may see why, as she want a companion rather than a doormat. Here's the boundaries are more than simply they're about to say no to her. Indeed, they demonstrate that you have respect for yourself in your own life, whether it concerns the amount of time you're ready to provide, what sort of conduct you'll agree with, or how you anticipate treated limits. Make it obvious that you don't need her badly. Okay, here's a real-world illustration. Suppose you're conversing with a lady, intrigued by, and she develops the habit of last-minute planning cancellations. The typical man would overlook it in the hopes she will finally believe him. But a guy with limits won't put up with being seen as a last resort. When she cancels the following time, politely let her, "I understand how you feel and that things happen." Up. But if you're not certain that you can, let's wait to commit until you are ready. This has nothing to do with conflict. It's about advocating for oneself. You're communicating to her that your time is so precious that you won't let it be spent. This is what occurs to her. Respects your limits and modifies her conduct, or you walk if she doesn't gone. You've shown to her that you are a self-respecting guy that's very alluring when you establish and maintain limits. Demonstrate that you don't fear losing her. Ironically, this enhances your attractiveness because you seem to her to be a guy who's in command of his "don't be too confident." Life 8 doesn't reveal. Your self-assurance is one of the most. You might have beautiful qualities, yet this is where most guys fail, even if they try, to demonstrate to others their level of confidence. Rather of only displaying it, there's a significant distinction between discussing how wonderful you are and how you really exemplify. In actuality, women are indifferent to your self-asserted assurance that they concern about their feelings, while they consider the males in your immediate vicinity. Observed who radiate genuine confidence. They don't need to explain, so don't boast themselves, and don't need continual confirmation. They just exist. Fills the space without a word being spoken. They talk plainly, stand tall, and move intentionally. That's the key is having the confidence that attracts others. The truth is that confidence isn't you may pretend that it's a need, originate within. It's not about continuously flaunting or attempting to impress people with your calm assurance. Being aware of your worth without having to demonstrate it when you're really certain. You're not concerned about how others see you, as you are already aware of you are valuable. But here's the issue as well. A lot of folks mistake arrogance for self-confidence, and arrogance are loudly annoying. And always looking for approval, it's a disguise. For the other's uncertainty and confidence, the hand doesn't have to yell for, it doesn't have to inform people to get attention. It's just true how amazing you are. Comfort breeds confidence in your own flesh, irrespective of the outside confirmation. When you're sure don't be scared to be who you are. Seeking acceptance from others because you stand out because you don't need it. In a world where many individuals are always attempting to establish their worth. Additionally, confidence isn't only about how you talk or behave. It all comes down to your energy, in the manner in which you listen and carry oneself and your interactions with. When you are confident, others instinctively convey that you're a self-respecting guy, and that's very magnetic. So don't attempt to, just be confident and show it. And let your presence and actions to do the speaking, after you've given up seeking approval, and concentrate on being confident in your identity. Without you, women will be attracted to you. Needing to utter a give up, attempting to be her ideal partner. Stop attempting to be her. Fraser 9. One of the greatest men's traps is the ideal man. Succumb to the notion that they must be the ideal man to attract a woman's attention. Interest, you are aware of the kind, the person who's consistently acting morally, claiming the using the appropriate language and being everything she would want. But here's the difficult part. Perfect truth is not just, it's not conceivable. Ladies don't find it appealing, want honesty and perfection, genuineness and a guy who feels at ease in, let's face it, no one is in his own skin. Ideal, the sooner you acknowledge this, it would be wiser to strive to portray oneself as being flawless wears you out. And ultimately, it demonstrates how ladies can tell when you're maintaining a facade, doesn't make you seem uneasy, even if you look fantastic. Therefore, if you're attempting to be the A-man who acts and says all the right things, just how you believe she bends or desires going over and above to get her approval, you're failing to be genuine, and that's the easiest method to understand the truth. Being authentic and true to oneself without apology is what most appeals to women. Don't have to know everything or be always the ideal guy. What? The important thing is that you be sincere and you're not at ease with who you are, attempting to shape yourself into the person you believe she wants to see who you are. You really are flawed, so please quit. Concerning herself with becoming her ideal, you will never be able to match it. Unreasonable expectation, because even if you wouldn't get the genuine relationship you're seeking with ladies. Avoid falling for the person who is attempting to. They fall deeply in love with the man who's self-assured enough to be himself, despite. The important thing is to concentrate on becoming the greatest version of yourself rather than another individual. When you release the under pressure to be flawless, you let your genuine personality to get women's admiration. Men who accept their imperfections as it demonstrates that they have nothing to conceal their lack of desire to impress. They are just being authentic, and that's what stop attempting to be her because she attracts women. Be your own interpretation of the ideal man. Fantastic, stop pretending, and begin being the guy who takes pride in his identity flaws and everything. That's how you, Victor, be prepared to go. Be willing to walk if you're above 10. The majority of males fail here. It's the most effective action you can do. If you want to get a woman's attention, to be willing to leave seems harsh, doesn't it? But listen, the truth is that when you're too connected or involved in the result of any circumstance involving you cede all of your authority, lady. Feel desperate, but believe me, it's not beautiful, the most powerful and the most appealing. The only people who comprehend that are guys. Their worth is independent of everyone. Person's admiration or focus if the lady isn't treating you with dignity. You require the effort or attention you deserve. Being ready to go, yet this doesn't imply being impolite or engaging in gameplay. Indicates that you're at ease enough with self-awareness that your time is valuable and that you will not spend it on a person who isn't much. Here's the issue too. As involved as you are, many males are reluctant to go because they want to keep the lady. They fear being rejected or being isolated, but the reality is that when you're not standing because you're scared to go. You're standing in your own strength. You seem weak because of your fear. Now consider the reverse. You have a lady who may not be providing you with she's not giving you the attention you deserve. Putting money into the relationship in the right manner, rather of pursuing her or begging her to take notice of you. Just take a step back and quit attempting to. You don't need to persuade her of your value. You stroll instead of begging as you pursue her. This change in conduct is so strong, it demonstrates